Welcome to this lecture on animal behavior. Today, we are going to explore a fascinating topic, primary and secondary orientation. Have you ever wondered how a cat always lands on its feet? Or how a moth knows exactly how to fly toward a light? These incredible abilities are not just random. They are governed by specific biological and physical principles. By the end of this session, you will understand the fundamental mechanisms that allow animals to stabilize themselves and purposefully navigate through their complex worlds. Let us dive in. To begin our journey, let us think about the absolute basics of movement. Imagine a cat falling from a tree, instinctively twisting to land safely, or a fish swimming perfectly upright in a dark lake. Before an animal can run toward food or escape a predator, it must first know which way is up and which way is down. This basic readiness to interact with the world is just like setting the foundation of a house before building the walls. If an animal is upside down and completely disoriented, it cannot effectively survive. Therefore, establishing a stable baseline posture is always the very first step in any behavioral sequence. Now that we understand why a baseline is needed, let us formally define what it is. Primary orientation is the fundamental posture or stance an animal maintains relative to its immediate physical environment. Most commonly, this alignment is relative to gravity or the solid ground it rests upon. It is not a one-time action, but rather a continuous baseline state of readiness that keeps the animal's body in a normal, stable, and balanced position. Without this baseline stability, coordinated and purposeful movement is physically impossible. Think of a bird sleeping on a branch. It must maintain this primary orientation against gravity to stay perched without falling off. Building on that definition, how exactly does an animal maintain this stable posture? It acts much like a biological gyroscope. The process involves constant sensory feedback from specialized organs. Animals use structures like statocysts, inner ear components, or even visual horizons to detect their position. The animal's nervous system constantly monitors these sensory inputs to detect and instantly correct any deviations from the optimal posture. This ensures sensory organs like eyes and ears are correctly aligned to scan the environment. If an animal loses its primary orientation due to injury or illness, it becomes highly vulnerable to predators and cannot forage effectively. Now that we know animals constantly correct their posture, let us look at the mathematics behind this physical correction. The formula is tau equals negative k times theta. Conceptually, this represents the physical effort an animal exerts to right itself when pushed off balance. Let us break down the symbols. Tau represents the restoring torque, which is the corrective rotational force the animal applies. The symbol K is the postural stiffness constant, depending on muscle strength and sensory sensitivity. Theta is the angle of deviation from the normal upright posture. The negative sign is crucial. It indicates that the corrective force is applied in the exact opposite direction of the tilt. If the angle theta increases, the animal must apply a proportionally larger restoring torque to return to center. Before we move on, let us see this formula in action. With a concrete example, imagine a fish is pushed by a sudden water current, causing it to tilt at an angle of 0.5 radians from its upright position. We are given that the fish has a natural postural stiffness constant of 12 Newton meters per radian. We need to find the exact restoring torque it must generate to fix this posture. We choose our restoring torque formula to model this biological response. By substituting 12 for k and zero point 0.5 for theta, we multiply them to get 6. Keeping the negative sign, our final answer is negative 6 Newton meters of torque. This means the fish successfully generates 6 Newton meters of force in the opposite direction of the tilt to prevent itself from flipping over. So, we have proven that an animal can maintain its balance. This brings us to the next logical step: movement. Now that our animal is standing upright and stable, imagine it smells a delicious piece of food in the distance. It must now turn and move specifically toward that smell. This is called secondary orientation. It is the active, directed movement superimposed on top of the basic posture. If primary orientation is like starting a car's engine, secondary orientation is like turning the steering wheel to reach a destination. It guides the animal toward or away from specific things in its environment based on external stimuli such as light, chemicals, temperature, or sound. Without this secondary layer, the animal would just stand perfectly still forever. Now that we understand what secondary orientation is, let us look at how it manifests in behavior. While primary orientation deals strictly with posture, secondary orientation deals with active navigation and trajectory. Biologists categorize these movements into specific behaviors. One is taxis, which is a highly directed movement, either directly toward or directly away from a stimulus. For example, a moth flying toward a light. Another is kinesis, which is an undirected, random movement that changes in speed or turning rate depending on how intense the stimulus is. In both cases, the animal uses its sensory organs to detect a gradient or source in the environment, and then adjusts its motor output to align its path accordingly. This ability to steer and navigate leads us to an important question. Why is this so critical for survival? Secondary orientation is absolutely vital because it allows an animal to locate necessary resources, find mates, and avoid hostile environments. For instance, a cockroach uses secondary orientation to scurry away into dark, safe crevices. Without this targeted movement, animals would wander aimlessly. Aimless wandering wastes precious energy and drastically reduces an animal's chances of finding food or escaping danger. Ultimately, secondary orientation transforms a static, balanced organism into an active, dynamic participant in the ecosystem, driving the complex ecological interactions we observe in nature. Now that we have explored the concept of steering, let us look at the mathematical relationship that captures the efficiency of this movement. The formula is v sub d equals v times the cosine of theta. Conceptually, this tells us how much of an animal's total effort is actually bringing it closer to its goal. Let us define the variables. The variable v sub d represents the directed velocity, which is the useful speed closing the distance to the target. The symbol v is the animal's total running or swimming speed. Theta is the angle of error between the animal's actual path and the perfect straight line to the stimulus. If the angle theta increases, the cosine value drops, meaning the directed velocity decreases and the animal is wasting energy moving sideways. Let us apply this formula to evaluate a real-world scenario. A male beetle detects a female's pheromone and runs at a total speed of 10 centimeters per second. However, a gust of wind blows the scent, causing him to run at an angle of 60 degrees relative to the actual location of the female. We want to find his directed velocity toward her. We choose the directed velocity formula to isolate the useful portion of his movement. We plug in 10 for the total speed, v, and 60 degrees for the angle theta. From basic trigonometry, we know the cosine of 60 degrees is exactly 0.5. Multiplying 10 by 0.5 gives us a final directed velocity of 5 centimeters per second. This means half of his effort is wasted moving sideways. To truly solidify these concepts, let us look at this vector diagram illustrating both orientations working together. In the center, we have our insect. The thick arrow pointing straight up represents the primary orientation, establishing the stable baseline posture. Now, look at the diagonal arrow, labeled V. This is the actual path the insect is running. However, the target, represented by the leaf, is along the dashed line. The angle between the actual path and the target path is theta. The arrow labeled V sub d represents the directed velocity, which is the mathematical projection of the total speed onto the correct path. This diagram perfectly visualizes how an animal's physical effort is split between moving forward and drifting off course. Having seen the mathematics and the visual vectors, we can now appreciate how these two systems interact. Primary and secondary orientation do not operate in isolation. They work together seamlessly to allow animals to navigate their complex world. Primary orientation provides the essential stable posture, acting as the physical foundation for all subsequent movement. You cannot steer if you are falling over. Secondary orientation builds upon this solid foundation, providing the steering mechanism to guide the animal toward favorable conditions and away from harm. Together, they ensure that an animal is both physically stable and directionally purposeful at all times. We have covered a lot of ground today, so let us summarize the most important ideas. First, primary orientation is the absolute baseline posture an animal maintains, usually relative to gravity, ensuring physical stability. We learned that animals use a restoring torque to correct any deviations from this posture. Second, secondary orientation is the active, directed movement that guides an animal toward or away from external stimuli, like food or danger. We used the directed velocity formula to measure exactly how efficient this navigation is. Mastering these two interconnected concepts is the key to understanding how animals successfully move from point A to point B in nature. You now have a solid foundation in the mechanics of animal behavior.